are basically functions inside of it. Okay. Oluwasegun, next time please you can omit and say it. You don't need to be posting it in the comment section. So methods are basically let's say you have an object. Now let's say you have obj obj is equal to this. This is an object. You can say just like we have here now, right? I have a function. Function okay, let me do this. So this is a function obj that has object one and two, right? And then he has a function inside. So I'm just gonna do this. Uh, so I'm going to do. I'll just move this one. This doesn't make any sense anymore. Mm, why is it possible true? If this is not going to work. This shouldn't work. So I'll do something like let's say logger, right? Something like function um, consider log. Consider log. Let's see one. So this logger does not have any actual um like all it just does is just consider log one, right? So there's no weight to it. Right? To console or log, or let me say if I say obj logger, I call it one is not defined. Hmm. Okay, nice. One is not defined. Oh. Hmm. What's the problem here? Okay, let me remove this. Not function, but I have to call it something. Uh, let's say function set. I'll call it a set. Okay. Um, Obj function. Obj function. What is this? Is not a function. How do I call the function to obj now? Well, the best way is just to use this, just like I did before. Let me call it logger again or log, right? Yes. Yeah, I should call it function. It should give me undefined. Hmm. The problem here, undefined. One should actually be defined at this point because one is no, I don't do something. One is undefined. Yeah, it's defined. Well, okay, so sorry about that, guys. Let me continue. So yeah, methods are functions inside objects, right? So let's start now. So they said methods are nothing more than properties that hold function values. So this is a simple method. So we have if an object called rabbit. right? And then we can actually add properties to objects using dot notation, right? So we can do something like let me let me, take this way out. Have this, we can say let rabbit is equal to an empty object, right? And we can do something like uh just what it did here, rabbit dot speak. Then we're going to add a function to it. Um, so when we do something like rabbit dot speak, and then we add a function to it. So that means inside this rabbit now, if you consider the rabbit, we're going to see a function called speak. Consider log rabbit for you, so you can see inside rabbit there is a function called speak, and when you call the function dot speak, right, and then you pass in something inside like a line could be, let's say, Ebuka. The rabbit, this is say the rabbit says Ebuka, right? So does everybody know understand what's going on here? Or should I have to explain this again? Does this make sense to everybody? Is this clear? It's not clear. Okay, so what this is that we are adding an, a function to rabbit, and then we are giving it a key of um speak. So basically, objects are key value pairs. So you can do something like this. Let's say I want to add a string. Okay, who can tell me? I want to add a string or a number. Let's say my age, this rabbit, age of the rabbit. How do I do it? I want to add an age to this rabbit object. How do I do it? Who can help me out? Anybody? I want the rabbit to have an age property. Anybody? Try. Okay. Rabbit dot age. So what do I do after that? Hmm? Okay. Now, I just to be age of the rabbit, just a number. So give me an age. Let me any age, any number you want. So, okay. So now when I control or log I control or log the rabbit, I got that the rabbit has a key of age and 12. Does this make sense now? Is it yes, you can add properties to objects like this. Yeah, so you don't necessarily need to. So that's what this guy did. He added a function to an object, giving it a key of speak, and then the value is a function, right? So that's what the method is. Yeah. So is this clear now to everybody? Please, if you don't, yes, clear to you. Okay, please, I would like others to unmute and give me their feedback. Do you understand what's going on or you don't understand? Just unmute and tell me so that I can know. I want to hear at least three people's voice. Okay, it's clear. Okay, let me hear somebody else. It's clear. It's clear. Let me get one more person so that I can know I can move on. It's clear. Okay. Okay. So now let's move on. So that's a method basically in JavaScript, right? So a method is having a function inside an object. So that's what basically we did here. So now let's move on to this. So when you called rabbit or speak and it passing I'm alive, right? So this function takes in properties. Please, if you want to unmute and talk, please talk. Oh. I can't see your. I can't see, yeah, I can hear you. Everything was working. There was nothing that did not work. I've already removed it, but it was working. I made a mistake. I forgot to put something. So now let's continue. Rabbit.speak takes in a so the function call, right, and it takes in I'm alive. I'm alive is going to be like is a parameter, right? So when I call rabbit.speak and I pass in I'm alive, it's going to console the log. The rabbit says I'm alive. So exactly to everybody. Just like say the rabbit says Ebuka here. If I pass in I'm alive, um, I'm alive, right? Rabbit to say I'm alive. Yeah. Okay, so now let's move on. Usually, a method needs to do something with the object it takes, the object it was called on. So most likely, a method actually operates on a function that it is being called on, right? When a function is called as a method, when a function is called as a method, looked up as a property and immediately called as an object or method, the binding called this in its body automatically points to the object that was it was called on. So basically when you have a an object, let me do something for you guys. So maybe that might help out. When you have an object, let's say you have let's I'm still gonna use obj. Let obj be equal to an object, right? And then we have let's say name name is and let's say the age is 12, right? And you have a function. Okay, let's have first name and last name. That might help out. First name, last name, and we have last name. Last name is let's say car. Let's call it John, right? So this is an object has the first name and last name, and then in this object we have a function. We have print name. Print name is the name of the method we want to use. And we're going to have the print name to be a function, and then the function is going to print the first name and the last name. So let's say the function is going to return this. This is your first name. Um, let's say plus this dot last name. So you can tell me if I consider object dot print name, what am I going to get? Yeah. Okay. So we jump together. Yeah. Correct. Correct. So why is why is it like this? Why is it like this? Why is it that if I consider if I do Why is okay? What I want to know is it's very very simple. I just want to know. I also need to know. What does this point to that is giving me this answer, right? Why is this? Why am I getting the full name here? Like, what does this dot first name and this dot last name mean? Like, why is it giving me Ebuka John? Why is it not giving me something else? Did you get my question? Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay, that's correct actually. So so that's very correct. So but what if I change this to an array function? What will happen? Should we try it out? Try an error. What error will it show? Working object. So, why? I can't hear you guys. What? Okay, returns none. Okay. Why is it returning none? Hmm. So this one is a little bit tricky. It's not returning what you guys say to return. It's returning none. I also want to be very very clear to give you an answer to this question. Like, this is something very. It's something very trivial actually. I should remove the return. Parentheses. Yeah. You know that won't change anything, right? You know that won't change anything. Yes, because of the plus actually. Thank you. So yeah, what's going on is when what happens is if I remove this plus now, right? You notice that I get undefined, right? If I remove this, I must get an object that which is the global scope, like the scope of the scope outside like this function, which is the global scope. This one here. Sorry. Okay. Basically, this is it now. This okay. I should remember. Okay, this is the first name. So it's gonna say first name is undefined actually. So, but if I have let's say I have first name outside here now, right? Don't call me. Let's try something. I'm not tried this before, but let me confirm my bias. So what happened? Mm, sweet undefined. Wait, let me remove this in front. I said, ah, what's going on? Okay, let's save it. Sweet undefined. Yeah, it does sweet undefined actually. But hmm, okay, so now this is a trick question now. What's going on? Let me try something again. Let me copy this line. Control L. Copy this line and take it down. Let me see. Let me see that it perform magic on me. Wait, it might still not work, but let's see. I think it's actually a coca thing. Actually, I'm thinking if I take it to my browser, it might actually work, but I'm not sure. Let me try it here. Let me check it in my browser. Let me take it to the browser. So I'll just try it out. Uh, let's try it in the browser. Go to the browser. Shift. Shift P. Shift off. No. Shift I. Mm, okay. My sources tab. Uh, okay. Let me slip it. Let me let's see scoop. I want to place this here. Uh, so let me play this for the first time. So okay, I get also log obj dot. I get undefined. Okay, so now let me do this. Let me just try this here. I'll do let first name equals to look, and I'm going to save it. I'm going to play. Mm, still don't define actually. Okay, so you still don't define actually. Hmm. Let me try something, sir. Let me try something. So let me remove this, and I'll save it again. This one I don't define. Then I'll do that. Okay. Let me try one more thing. One more thing I want to try. Okay, let me try it. I'll try window the question. Replay this. Okay, yeah. Now returns look. Ah, stupid people. So now returns look. If you see, I get look. So I basically attach it to the window object before I get something out. But wait, too. But seriously, like if you call a variable without declaring the scope, let and const, you are basically adding it to the window object. So I'm still not getting why you need to add it like explicitly to the window object before you get an answer. Can anybody see what happened here? Let me try and move this. It's not clear. Okay, I'm coming. Let me see how I can. Okay, so I'll do this. Yeah. So what happened was I tried to test this thing to know how I can get look to be printed on this my console, right? So the first thing I did was I just declared I did let first name, right, and then I saved it, right, and I checked my console, and I'm getting look here. Oh, funny enough, are you kidding? Are these people joking with me now? What's going on? I'm getting look here, which I didn't get before. Which okay, let me change it to look from look to John. Let me see what happened. Let me save it again. What I like about this my class is that now experiment that we use full. So let me just let's please let's see. Okay, I'm going to look again. Okay. So, oh my god. So yeah, it's not this John that it's not this John that reflecting actually. So it's already received as look. If I refresh this browser, will it refresh the whole Google Meet? But if I refresh this browser, all the saved variables will wipe away. I don't want you to refresh my Google Meet name, so you guys don't just pop out. So that's what I'm worried about. This particular tablet. Are you sure? Okay. Yeah, it worked. So let me play it now. Let me see what happens. So yeah, exactly. So undefined. Um, I say instead of first name, I now do I remove this let. So I'm attaching it to the actual window object, but JavaScript does not have sense. So let's see. Play it. JavaScript still doesn't have sense. But I now use my hand and attach it myself to the window object, which is the window, the first name, done, and I save it. And I play it again. Then I get John. So yeah, it just means that this is actually accessing the window object directly, right? So you guys can do your further research on this to confirm the experiment you just did here. Yeah. Mhm. Sorry, I can't hear you clearly. Okay, what's the impact of that? Okay, so it just means that if you want to reference um something outside your object, right? Let's say you want to represent something in your global scope, you know what to use. If you want to reference eh? Um, look on. Okay, try and mute. Or let me mute you. Don't worry. Okay. So yeah, what that means is that if you want to use this, like you want to, you have a method now, and then you know that okay, there is something that's outside the method. Don't worry, we are going to get to the point where we will need to use arrow functions instead of normal functions. And I'm going to show you. Is in this book. Like this book covered everything actually. So it's around this point. This around this point, you see where they use an arrow function. So at this point, you know that you want to use an arrow function because a normal function will not work at this point. So there are points where you need to use arrow functions instead of normal functions. Just need to understand why and how. Okay, so first of all, what this guy now did. So let's continue now. So usually a method needs to do something with object. So it is called on when a function is called as a method, a method looked up as property and immediately called. It's an object method. The binding called this in its body automatically points at the object that is called on. Function speak this line, right? So this is a function, right? And then this is an object. The first object is white rabbit and hungry rabbit, and then they both reference the speak function. So now let's see. This actually, if you look at it for the first time, you can actually turn your eye because you might be like, what's going on here? But let me try and clear out all this so that we can just go through it. So, so this is a function, right? So we are trying to reference function into object. So the first object is um, white rabbit, and the second object is hungry rabbit. And if you notice, if you I offer about this, I'm going to get a function. These are this function. So if I want to console, if I want to print hungry rabbit. So if you notice this right is going to reference each of these objects. So let's say um let's say we want to do white rabbit dot speak, and then we'll pass in so the line will be zoom. You can see that we say them white rabbit says zoom. Can you see? And if we say hungry rabbit dot speak, and then we'll pass in a instead of zoom. Let's say we hungry rabbit says we. Can you see? So this is pointing to at each of the instances that is being called because of the dot notation, right? So now, if you notice, this function was called outside this was a function was declared outside both of the objects, right? And it was being passed in as key value pair into this object. Okay, but now let's say according to them now, let's continue the book. So yeah, so only white rabbit does speak. Oh, oh, my ears and whiskers. How late it's getting. White rabbit says. So this white rabbit, the type of this object is white. So this is the type. The white rabbit says, "Oh, my ears and whiskers. How late it's getting." Hungry rabbit says, I could use a carrot right now." So the hungry type is hungry. So this the type this the hungry rabbit says, I could use a carrot right now. So you can think of this as an extra parameter that is being passed in a different way. So actually this is passed as a parameter, but it is not passed in the normal way. It's passed in a different way. If you want to pass in explicitly, you can use a function call method, which take this value and an argument, an first argument option, and treats further arguments as normal parameters. So now we have this function speak, but we want to call this function and pass in the object. So we can just speak. There's a method called there are three methods. There's call, if you see this is apply, there's bind, and there's call. These are the three methods that we use to bind functions to arguments. So if I say call now, if I call now, and I do this, let me comment out this particular two code here. And I say I'm calling these guys on I'm calling guys on let me call it a white rabbit, right? And I'm not saying let me pass in the parameter of the parameter that this line is saying welcome home. So now I have the white rabbit says welcome home, but I'm using the call to call the speak function, and I'm passing in the method I want the this to be pointed to. Does it make sense? No? Yeah, ask. The type is saying that in the object they are looking at, just like we did before, which was we did for where we did let obj equals to uh let's say we had the first name. We did I think we did the Bukabi. Put Ibuka here. And now we did a function. Let's say log. Then the log said function. We did return this dot first name. So what do you think this will return if I consider log? Hmm? If I consider log obj dot the log, what will I get? Exactly. So this is exactly the same thing. This function here, it's exactly this function here. The only the only thing is that they didn't pass this function here. What they did that they just call this function out. They cut it. And they did this here. And they said let's say log is equals to or yeah, something like this. Get log. Then now they come and instead of passing the log here, they just did the log like this. So now you notice that this log is referencing this log outside. True or false? Okay, so let me remove this comma here so that so now this log now, right? So if I still do if I do obj, if I do consider log obj dot log. See this thing that is confusing you, confuse me too. I'm not going to lie, so don't worry. You are in this together. So when you do obj dot log, I get a book, right? So basically the function is being passed in as a key to this object here. So that's what's going on here. Obj dot log to give you a book, if it's outside. That was going on here. So this function that we have here is outside, but it's being passed into these two functions, to these two objects. So when you white rabbit dot speak, right, it's going to have both the the object that you're passing it as it's this the this the this of this the this of the function, right, will be this of the object you passed in. And you passed it in. So if I do white rabbit dot speak, it's going to the type of this dot type will be white. If I do hungry rabbit dot speak, the type will be hungry. Am I making sense? Yes. So is the this of so the this is this object. Basically, what this is this object, right? This is an object. This is an object. Let me show you. Can you see? It's an object. It's an object that is very flexible. In the sense that this object takes the name of the object that it is referenced to. I don't know if I'm making any sense. So just like I can do object, you can do this dot now. That's the question. So in a JavaScript, you can use this dot something, this dot type. That's how you get values of key value pairs and object, right? So if I hover over the let me see. Would this help out? No. Okay, let me play with this more so that you guys let me see if I can confuse some people small. Let me do some confirm me confuse people small. So basically, if I don't know if anybody knows what I'm trying to do, but yeah, it's the same thing actually. It's just JavaScript, it's nonsense. This should still work. Yeah. Just telling you that this is an object, right? If I confuse you, let me say hi. let me add another property to this object. Let me say name, and I'll name it let's say Ibuka. It's Ibuka, no Ibuka. So then a white rabbit, right? Instead of do this dot type, I'll do this dot name. Yeah, and then I get the Ibuka rabbit. Ibuka is the rabbit. Let me remove the rabbit. uh Ibuka says welcome home. uh Okay, so yes, yeah, yes. So the call is attached to every JavaScript function as a, how can I put it now? Is a prototype. Is attached to the prototype of every JavaScript function. So what the call does is the call takes in an object, right? So this white rabbit now is an object, right? And then it points the this of the particular this now to this, like it uses this as is this. So if I say this dot whatever, and if I change this to, okay, let me add name. Let me add this here. I'll add another property here, name, and I'm going to add it here. And the name will be, let's say, so I'll name it Lush. Name it Lush. And if I change this from white rabbit to hungry rabbit, this name, what will it be? Look at tell me what it will be. Exactly. Exactly. So it's the Lush. So this call is basically acting as is a way to say, okay, JavaScript, that this, let me be the one to tell you what to use as a this, right? Let me tell you what to use as an object. So this thing I pass here as a parameter, use it as the object. So instead of saying whatever this is, I say hungry rabbit dot name, the same thing as this dot name. So this is going to cover, is going to represent this hungry rabbit. Hungry rabbit and this are the same thing. Want making sense? Yep, you can totally use both. Am I busting your brace more? Okay. Okay. So I hope I'm able to explain the culture to an extent. Okay. Let's take it. Okay, for call, you can basically just pass in other parameters. It's just behave like a normal function. So welcome home, I can say like, let's say Adobe, and then I can come here and do something like it just acts like a normal function that can take in as many parameters as possible. Let me do okay, what do I call this one now? Ewo, what do I call? Okay, let me call it sys. Okay, let me just call it sys. Okay, so welcome home Adobe. Let me see. So it can take as many parameters as passing. So the first thing it takes in is the this, which is the object. Other things is taking as many parameters as you want. Yeah, you're welcome. There's also another one. Oh, there's apply, there's bind. So, but it's beyond the scope of this particular one. You guys can learn it on your own. So if you know there's bind, Yeah. So what bind does is bind does exactly the same thing with call. But bind with, if you notice, look at them when you notice that what difference between what else, like I just changed bind now from call to bind. Look at them what they notice that happen differently. Exactly. You're not getting anything in your console. So what bind does is that bind creates a new function. So you want to see the function, you have to call it yourself. But it works exactly the same way. Bind creates a reference, creates a new function with a new this. Like this is going to pass it in. I'm going to create a reference to it. So you want to see, you have to call it yourself. But it works exactly the same way. And there's another one called apply. I feel like I've been saying it before. Apply. So, but apply is quite different. Apply doesn't just do any of this. Apply takes in an array, an array of parameters. But let's not walk into apply today. Apply is quite the catch. We'll just use the call, which is the easiest to use for now. To want an instant answer. Am I clear? I can ask a question. I'm listening. I just did it now. Do you want? Does anyone want to try and explain it again? Guess what I just explained now. Okay, let me come again. Please open your ears and listen to me clearly. Now explain again. I have a function, right? I have a function outside. I have an object. I have 10 objects. I have 10 objects. Let's say I have an object. Let's say let let red good. It's an object. And then inside the object I have a type of red. And then I pass in the function, the speak function, right? And then I have another name, and then I call the name Lush Pro Max, right? Lush no vex, so that is your name. Okay. So I have three different functions, right? Three different objects. And then they both have a type, they both have a speak, and then they have a name. So what I want to call this my speak function. I want it to reference red goods. What do I speak dot call? Okay, if you notice the speak, okay, speak is a function of false. Can anybody agree with me? Speak is a function. JavaScript function, true? Okay. So so when I yeah, so when I put a full stop in front of speak, I'm waiting um for my browser to give me IntelliSense, right? Even if it's quite slow. So I don't know what's wrong. IntelliSense is taking forever loading. Well, the problem I'm trying to show you guys is that when I call a function in JavaScript, right, and you put a dot in front of it, there's going to be some methods that you're going to get from JavaScript itself. Why is this slow like this? One of There are three of them that you're going to see there. You're going to see call, you're going to see bind, you're going to see apply. So basically, the first one I'm going to work, or the one I'm going to be working with is call. So when we call, right, when we use call, first parameter call takes is the this. This is means that the object that you want to bind it to. What object do I want to bind this pick function to? That means that this dot name will produce a result. I want to bind it to uh red goat. I put my red goat as my object. Remember, I am binding to object. Please don't forget. I'm not binding to any other. I'm binding to an object. I'm not binding to a function. I'm binding to an object. I think my coca is working well now. So when I put it, see, exactly, can you see? I have apply, I have argument, I have bind, I have call, I have color, I have let, I have prototype, I have to string. So all these are all methods that are being called on the object. Don't use the bind, the call, sorry. And I have my red boot. And then if you notice I have the Lush Pro Max says undefined. It means that this function takes into parameters that's the line and sys, and I'm not passing anything. So let me pass in the line and sys. Line is um how are you, and then the sys is Mary. So now my function is console login. The Lost Pro Max says how are you, Mary. Does it make sense? No, the person that said I don't understand. Now I'm asking you. Our brother said I did not understand. Are you? Okay. So the same thing with bind. Bind too. I just explained what bind does. Is exactly the same thing, right? But bind creates a reference to a function. You do not call the function. You have to be the one to call it yourself. Same thing, right? Apply does the same thing, but apply takes in an array of um, variables. So now let's go. So you can think of this as an extra parameter that is passed in a different way. If you want to pass it explicitly, you can use the function call method. This takes in this value as its first argument, which is this, and treats the further argument. Hello? Okay. Okay, so yes, so now if you notice, um, if I pass in hungry rabbit and I pass in Bob, look at him what's gonna happen when I console or log this like when I run this, what is my what to be my console? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Correct. Clap for yourself. Try. Try. Okay. Yeah. So since each function has its own this binding, right? Whose value depends on the way it is being called. You cannot refer to this of the wrapping scope in a regular function defined with the function keyword. Mm. So yes, okay. This is where confusion came in. So since you cannot you cannot refer to this or the wrapping scope in a regular function defined function keyword. So what this means is, let me show you what this means. What this line says now. Like you remember when I was saying something about it took me 3 days to understand what a particular line was saying. Anybody remember what I was saying that? Yeah, so this is a line that took me 3 days. Yes, I'm gonna explain what they are trying to say. Okay, so now let me break it down. Let me confuse some people small today. Okay, so now let's say I think I already have an example of what how that happens here. Instead of me trying to recreate my own example, I'll just use the example that I already took the internet. Okay, could be. Mm-hmm. Get ready to be blown away. Oh, please spare your mind that. Okay, no, she's not here. It's not this one. This one is probably, but not this one. This second, let me look for that particular function. If I can't find it, I'll just write another one myself. Oh, okay, can't find it. Let me check here. I put it here. Okay, yes, this is it. Should be it. Okay, no, too. This is it. No, this is not it. Too. Eh, this is boy. I'll just write it myself. Okay, so yeah, I'll just write the function myself. Nothing, no bad, nothing spoil. So now let's say I have an object. Right? Let's say I have let x is equals to this, and I have normal name. Or let's have first name. First name is equals to Ibuka. Normal. I should know my first name is Ibuka. Then last name should be John. My last name is not John, so in case you think my last name is John, it's not John. John or Luke. I'll use those names. So yeah, right? And then I have a function. So let me have a function. Let's say log, and then there's a function, and then the function normally. Okay, let's do the normal one. Normal the function returns um this dot first name. So if I consider log x dot log, what would I get? Smart. Everybody should know by now. I'm just asking just to filter out trustness. If x of first name, if I x dot log, what would I get? Hmm? Okay, thank you. So now this is where the beauty of this thing now comes to that line. Let's say I have another function inside, right? Let's say the function is let's say function work, and then I want to access this this dot first name, right? Or okay, if I try and console the log this the first name here or this here, do you think I'm going to get my first name? Do you think I'll get Buka? Let me hear something. Let me hear what you guys think. If I console the log this here, do you think I'm going to get my first name? I think I will. Hmm. Okay, you know what? Um, huh? Please be refreshing what? Okay. Okay. Let me do something now. Let me do console the log. Okay. So I'm trying my best to see how I can actually present this thing now, so that you guys can see it. Okay. So wait, give me a second. Okay. So if I console the log, if I can console the log something here, console the log this the first name, right? and then I'm going to consider log x dot log, right? Okay, so I get Ibuka, right? So let me try and see if I can do the same thing here. Um, mm, sudo log this this dot first name. So can I still get access to? Okay, so I'm trying to see how I can actually get access to work, right? Okay. So what I will do here is I'm going to call work here. That would have happened. Call work here. Uh, so now can you see this? The first name is Luke. Where did I define Luke here? This the first name is Luke. Where is Luke? Luke. Where are you, my brother? Luke. I can find Luke somewhere. Is it that it's attaching itself to the actual? Okay, where is Luke now? Okay, this is Luke. This the first name is Luke. Where is that called Luke? Let me look for Luke. Yeah, maybe okay. It's actually accessing the browsers. Let me try to refresh my browser. Let me see if I can still get Luke there. Let me see if this problem will be resolved. I will just refresh this. And I will just close this. Now let's see if I let me play this and let me see if this will still be look okay. What is this guy? Okay, this is the first time we still look. Okay, the point I'm trying to make is when you have a nested function inside another function and you want to access the this of the the object that is being called in, it's not going to work. Like you cannot access the first name, this guy, Ebuka, in a function nested inside another function. So that's what this guy was trying to say when he said since this function has its own bindings, these bindings whose value depends on the way it is called, you cannot refer to this of a wrapping scope in a regular function defined with a function keyword. So you cannot refer to the this of this of the wrapping scope means the curly bracket. So the you cannot refer to this of this function, this log function inside this work function. You're going to refer to another this. These are getting from this function here is not the this that this guy can have access to. So does that make any sense? See, I say when I say it took me 3 days, I know I wrote. I'm going now. I was feeling again. And let me look for, I know I wrote the code somewhere. I just want to know where I because the code not just disappear like that now. Because I don't let me just give me a second. Let me look for it. What I actually wrote like bunch of codes. Right? Uh, wait. Let me search. 'Cause I know I did a lot of stuff on that particular stuff. I just want to know where I wrote it down. Okay, say new. Okay, this is it. Yeah, this is perfect. This is it. So I'm just gonna comment this whole code. So yes, so this is a function, and then the name is Bob, right? And then the function, and that function inside this Bob. This function I see them console log say name root. This is the name, right? So I'm going to call this container dot name. I'll show you guys something again. No, don't worry, this is not all. So this is saying um this dot name is Bob, obviously, right? But notice what happens here when you say this dot name is now undefined. It's not more Bob, it's undefined. But it's still a function inside another function, right? Right. So okay, so this is what happens. First of all, this first function, say name, right, is referencing the name here, Bob. This name Bob. This dot name is Bob. Say name, say name root Bob. There's another function inside this function, and then I'm trying to reference the this dot name, which is Bob, but I'm getting something else which is undefined. So it says we'll notice that note here that introducing the function ruins the this reference. It's no longer referencing the container. It's no longer referencing this container, it's referencing something else. And what it's saying is that when you have a function inside that function, the this is not pointing to the main object that you think it is referencing to. What it's saying is, don't get me wrong, but I don't know what is distorting it. What you just said, trying to know that if you're writing two functions in an object, bear in mind that the second function is not referencing the object you think it is referencing. So in case you want to use something and you get an error, know that where the problem is coming from is that the second function in the object is not referencing the container at all. I don't know, bro. I'm not JavaScript. That's how they wrote it. Go and meet what's the other guy again that wrote JavaScript? So the thing is that if you use arrow function here, actually, you can actually get the container. Should I show you? See, I don't even need to show you. You already see. Look at with arrow function. Can you see? Man, your question don't confuse me. I know we like you. Yeah. I don't understand what you're trying to ask. Come again, let me hear. Mm, I, I don't get. But the thing is, with a function inside this and that function, you are even you are referencing what is in the global. Like you don't leave this space. What you're referencing now is somebody outside. Yeah. Okay, if you have a normal function, right? That's let's say two functions. Basically, what you're about to encounter is closures. So yes, you can actually access functions. You can actually access properties that are directly above it. So this normal function now, right, will be able to see what is inside this function clearly. Do you get? So, but yeah. So that this particular this is so it for normal functions, they both behave the same way when you're talking about scope, both for both for arrow functions and both for function declarations. They have the same, they can both access properties that are defined in their scope. They call it lexical scope, right, in their surroundings. So that's what it's called. Yeah, lexical scope. They can actually access properties. So, but if you notice, you can actually correct this with this particular line. You can rebind it with the call. So when I comment out this particular piece of code, you notice that this will now say Ben, right? This says Ben. So you can now direct. You know what we talked about using call, right? Yeah. So that's what we can use to correct this for this part. So basically, most of the time, we use call to tell manually override what our this is. If you notice, every time you are using a if you see a piece of code and start seeing people using call apply bind, they are trying to manually. One way that you can see this, one real life example of this is when you're using something like um okay, let me see, this code is like 145, right? Like, I think I wrote the code somewhere. Let me see if I can find it again. uh no, my laptop is quite a mess. It's a messed up piece of place to look for code. There's a lot of codes everywhere. Okay, where do I keep this thing now? Bro, the way I okay, yes. Yeah, so this is it now. I hear we are there. Uh, Let me comment it. So now we have a counter is zero, and we have an increment counter, right? Takes a function and then it does this plus plus. Then we have a button here. Even if I cannot show you this because of the fact that I'm using my Coca and there's no HTML, there's no query selector or anything like that. I'll just show you. So you have a button. Most of the time is when you're using your DOM manipulation, right? I have a button dot query selector. I grab my BTN. I add an event listener. Click that will increment the counter. So if I do counter or increment, if I remove this bind and I just do counter or increment, right? Counter or increment counter. Let me see, this is counter or increment counter. I'm I'm basically accessing this function, right? So if I click on this button, is this what do you think will happen when I click on this button? What is my this referencing to? This is my add event listener. You can tell me. Who knows? I have an idea. Even if you don't, I have an idea. Just just say, let me hear. You don't know. Okay. Okay, so at this point, what this is referencing to, if you remember what I was telling you guys about objects, this document.query selector, this is a document, is actually an object. You know, this is the document object, right? So this is going to be referencing the document. So when I do counter increment, it's going to the pointer is going to be pointing towards this document. But I don't want it to point. I want it to point towards this counter, right? So that's why I now did this. If I control Z, you see I bind this to the counter. That means now when I click on this button or increment this counter is going to change. It's going to increment instead of me preferencing this particular query selector. I'm going to be referencing my counter. This is an example of a real life scenario of where to use your bind and call and apply, or how it works, or especially when you're doing DOM manipulation. So don't ask me a question. I'm not going to answer that question. Yeah, ask. Let me see if I answer small. Why move on? Your network? Nah, your network is not like you. Okay, okay. Okay. You want screenshot? Yeah. Okay. Okay. What if it's what? Eh, so if if the increment counter function is an arrow function, I'll probably say you're basically want to punish yourself because at that point I have to ask you for what this is at that point because personally I don't know what this is at that point. I'll probably say it will be the global object. We probably pointing towards the window object, not the document itself again. I point toward the window. So yeah, it might not be pointing somewhere far. And most of the time, trying to use uh nah, so just use your normal function, bro. Don't the only time where you should use your arrow functions is when you want to have a function inside another function, right? And you don't want to start worrying about um changing your bind, like changing your this. Let's say I want to have another function here now. I can have another function const, let's see, x, y, z, and I'm going to do this, right? And I want to have access to this of this particular counter. I can do something like this dot add, plus whatever I'm doing. Do you understand? So that's when I can use my this. Because if I use my normal function inside here, I'm going to be pointing somewhere else. Do you understand? So if I use my arrow function, I can actually get access to this counter zero. But you can also see use your normal function, right? And you bind your XYZ to the counter. Am I making sense? No, I can't try it. I'm working with no manipulation here. This is not even what we are even going to do. Holding on. Just understand what I'm trying to explain. This particular one is just an example of what happens in real life scenario where you want to bind this. So whenever you're using your DOM manipulation or event listener, whenever you're trying to you're passing a function because this is an object. If you know this is an object, normally if you're using a function, you just want to call a function like this a function. Let's say it's a function already declared outside. You pass a function like this. But let's say you're working with an object, right? This this first right the right hand part is going to determine what your this is. The same way you have something like this now. If I have an object, let's say x y is equals to this, and I have like let's say name, and I have like let's say function. If I do xy dot fn, what am I pointing to? What is my xy? What is my function pointing to? Xy, right? Exactly. So the same thing happens when you're working with DOM operation. You're telling your DOM that this event listener, this I'm pointing towards this document dot this button question dot btn. I want you to I want you to take it and do something with do whatever this code is saying, run it or let it affect this btn. But basically, you want whenever you click on this button, it should not affect this click. It should the click event should come to this particular counter and do some manipulation on this particular counter. So the JavaScript will not understand what you want to do except you actually tell it where to point is this towards. Am I making any? I hope I'm speaking. This is advanced stuff. But if you've not done it before, it might look complex, and I can't. Try my best to see how I can explain. Sha. Eh? Ask a question. Ah, go ask. Eh? You notice that what? Uh-huh. Query selector is a this is a event listener now. You say it returns an object on that function. Wait, come again. What do you say? Okay. You know, point again. Let me hear. Let me hear you because I didn't get it first time. Hmm. Okay, so you mean that okay, this is a method. So in the document object, right? Document object is query selector is a method, right? And the query selector takes in a dot it takes in a reference, right? That's what it's using to reference whatever elements that you passed in your HTML, right? Okay, yeah, continue. I get where you're a method. Mhm. Yes, you're correct. You're correct. You're correct. Yes, yes. The this is going to be using is the this of this particular btn element that you basically got here. So it's going to say this object. This, just like you said, this is an object, right? So it's going to be binding this increment counter to this particular btn object, and then that's an error because there is no the btn object is just an object. It does not have any logic to increment any nonsense. There's no nothing like increment counter on this BTN. So you're just gonna be clicking the button from now to kingdom come. But now you're saying, bro, don't look for this increment counter in this query selector. Look for it in this counter here. That is where I want you to look for it. Do you understand? Now is this whenever I click on this button now, this could run and say, okay, sorry, I want to look for this increment counter, but where am I looking for it? Go to counter. Okay, to come here, count zero, increment. Oh, there's a counter here. It's not going to increment this to counter and increment from whatever it was, add one to it. So if you're using this value to do anything, you're going to see that the count is no more zero, it's now one at every incremental count or every click on the button. Am I making sense? Am I your network, Sha, no, just select you. Yes, I'm recording it. I'm recording it. Don't worry. Change sim. Start using glue. Okay. Okay. So yes, does everybody understand what I'm trying to explain now? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So now you see that particular see what I like about this book is that they will just write one very small line, like it just be like two or three lines, but you don't know that that's what two or three lines that they wrote. If he carry you go where you don't know. Can you see just these three lines what I'm using to explain this and this? Okay, it's something I want to show you guys again. I might bust your brain. Okay, I swear this one busted my brain. So if it doesn't bust your brain, I don't know who you are. So let me show you guys. I'm ready for you guys today. Okay, so now let's say I have an object. Let's let's say let my is equals to an object. I'm not going to use the normal property I name. I could name um equals to first. car, right? And let's say age is 12, and I did let's say have log, right? A function, and when the function does this, the function returns returns name. This is the name, sorry. Plus, let me do space, and let me do. I want to start using temperatures. Even if it's the easier way to do it, sha. The name Ebuka is plus this. So so when I consider log my log, right? I get Ebuka itself, right? So this makes sense now, right? This is normal JavaScript now. It makes sense, right? And everybody, yeah, it makes sense. Okay. So now to the part that busted my own brain. But this cannot be what busted my brain, so I'm just so if I do something like this, if I say let new log is equals to my dot log, right? If I call new log here, what do I get? Who if I tell what I will get? Same response. I want to get three people's answers. Three people should answer my question. Three people. Same response, right? Kabir, what do you think? Joyce, what do you think? Same thing. Okay. It wasn't a very low. It's not the same thing though. Well, let me show you guys. What do I get? Undefined, undefined. New log is the reference to a function now. My M is a function though. See now, this. See, is a function. Look at this guy. It's just a function. It's what? It's an object. It's a function now. What this guy saying? It's like a function. Okay, what is it then? No, no, you don't have to call it actually. See, I'm passing the reference of the function to another variable. That's what I'm just doing. It's the same thing. I'm just changing variable names. That's what I'm just doing. But notice that see if I call it here, right, I'm passing the result of the function call to new log, right? But here I'm just passing the reference of the function to new log, not the call. Do you understand? Hey. Okay, so this is actually a function, all right? But it's the reference of this my log I'm passing to this new log. That's what I'm trying to say, right? I'm actually passing the reference. Okay, let me give you an example of what reference is. If you remember what we discussed about objects, right? let x n, let me say let n is equals to an object, and we have n equals to 1, right? If I say n is equals to n, right? I say, let me say let n. What is n? Is it not the same? Is it the same thing with n, or is it not? Are they the same thing? And n now. If I console log n, let me console log n so you can see n. N is an object, right? Same thing with n. So is it the same thing with n, or is it different from n and n? Are they the same thing, or are they different? They're the same thing, right? Why are they, how are they the same thing? How are they the same thing? Explain. Let someone explain to me why are they the same thing. The reference, right? Exactly. That's what I'm doing here. I'm passing the reference of this function into another variable, and I'm calling the variable, which is the same thing with my log. It is still the same function, but this is referenced in another variable. It's the same freaking function, but it's another variable. That's all. But I get so see, when I see this in my brain, it actually did. So yes, this was the yes, this was it. Someone said his brain was headaching him. Sorry. When me I saw it, I was like, what? What's this? So yeah, not only you. Yeah, what is it? Yes, exactly. So the this for new log has changed. The this has changed. So the fact that I'm referencing it outside the scope of this my changes the this. That was the explanation I was giving. I don't really know why. I don't think that would make any sense, but yeah, that's the explanation. The fact that you're changing you're referencing it outside the scope of this function, of this object, changes the this. So the this now becomes the global this, undefined. Our function. E no, let me make zero function so that my brother would we have a peace of mind. Undefined, bro. Say you don't calm down now. So, you know what I like about my classes, eh? When there's this 20 seconds long pause and nobody says anything. So everyone just staring at the screen like, what the fuck is going on? Oh my god. I get, guys. I understand, don't worry. I'm here to tear you guys' brain. That's my duty in this place. To tear your brain. So yeah, basically this is it. Yeah, I don't have a solution to this problem. I don't have a solution to this problem. I assure you. I don't have, I don't have one. I don't have one. There might be. I'll think maybe it will be but since okay, let me try and see if I can do instead of just doing this, I'll just do maybe I'll do dot maybe dot call. Let's see if that call will work. And I'll pass in my wait, this okay, yeah, it works. Yeah, it works. Yeah, it works now. This should be a solution. New log dot call. So you bind new log to back tell new log to look for this in my and then new log goes to my to look for this. Does everybody get what I just did now? How I got the solution? voice is still busting your brain, right? With this thing I just did for you guys now, like I'm trying to, I'm sure that's clarified. See, before this book review, let me lie to you. I understand this, so but not to this extent. I understand this. Like now, I actually get what's going on. So I'm trying to make you guys understand it in the same level at which I understand it, even better. Yeah, you will see something that is outside. I'm not sure you can see anything. So if you're not getting this particular class, no matter how many book you read, if you don't get them, I bet you. But well, let's give it a try. You guys try. Well, just try and see how you can get it on this class. Sha. Ask your questions. Be very vocal. Ask your questions. Anything you don't. Yeah, okay. There is actually no essence. There's just a way to tell you what JavaScript will do if you do something. So just saying, oh, if you choose to do this, just know what you will get as a result. So yeah, yes, I know you might not need this actually. This might not be needed at all. But yeah, in case somebody do this and then the person is getting an issue, person is wondering where the issue is coming from, you can easily just tell the person that, see, look at what you are doing. Uh-huh. Or you work in a large code base in a company and one developer there decides to be freaky and then do some nonsense. That's your question, bro. PHP. Oh, okay. It's the same thing. It's basically PHP is actually object oriented too, and then PHP and JavaScript have. So yes, we use new keyword, but we are going to talk about that later. You see on this topic, right? Don't worry. When we get to that part, you'll see it. When we talked about new classes, if you see, let me show you. See new. I will explain everything. Don't worry. I will break everything down so I can understand. It might not be today because we're already 9:53. Might be the next class, but hopefully just keep attending and when I get to that point to explain, I'll explain everything well. Okay. So yes, I want to ensure that everybody gets this part before I move on. Because this part I just explained is not easy to where's that thing again? Yeah, okay, this is it. I've never gone to this function. So yes, let me move on. Does everybody get let me move on now. You have any questions so far? I want to see ask. I will comment out all. Okay, let's move on. Let me not lie to you guys. Oh, this particular chapter 6 is actually tough. Um, I'm not gonna lie even now. If me I say something is tough, that is tough because it's a joke. Oh, I don't know lie. Oh. It's tough. Man. Okay, so now let's move on. So yes, we finished. So arrow functions are different. They do not bind their own this, but can see the this binding of the scope around them. Does this make sense now? Yeah. Oh yeah. See, just look at this example that they give now. This is an arrow function, right? Inside a normal function. If they use a normal function here, what do you think will happen? All right, let's read exactly. Thus, you can do something like the following code. We reference this inside the local function. If I had written the argument map using a function keyword, what will happen? The code what? The code what? What's this? Exactly. Oh, yeah, let me show you guys. Let's do practical now. Oh my guy, this particular part of this book, I pondered. I was like, God, what is this guy trying to? What is this saying to me? What is he speaking? Translate it to me, oh God. I don't like you. This thing was tough. Uh, yeah, the work that goes into this book review is not easy. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Seriously, you guys don't look at it that it's not easy. Because you take me time to go through this thing. Chance, because just one small line that this guy will actually write, and that small line can encode a lot of you know deep stuff. But you might not read it. You don't know that. So now, if you notice, this code works. First of all, this object, right, is basically our. Let me just bring this out and let me put it out there so that because how me I even figured it out was when I brought it out. I said let obj is equals to this. This is obj, and then I did I used my bind to bind obj. I bound my obj to this, right? So yes, then I did so now this normalize, right? Normalize the call. So I'm binding my obj to so and it means that these are coords, the map, right? So it's getting this coords. So you go to map over 0, 1, 2, 3. You're gonna do for every n, divide n by this the length. And the length is 5. So it's gonna be 0 over 5, 4, 3 over 5. So now everybody gets what's going on, right? And then this map is accessing the this of this normal function. So inside this normal function now, this here is this particular object. So that means this map inside this function is can access this. But when I try change this map and I put in something else, let me see, okay, and I put in like let's say function. Let me see what I'm coming. I'll just cut this. Now I'll paste it here. I'll comment this out so that I can know what I'm doing. So I'll do okay function. I'm going to pass in my n, and then I'm going to do return n. Well, this is what I will get. I get none, right? So how do I fix this now? How can I fix this? Tell me. How can I fix this particular error? It's fixable now. My n is not. You can get error function, but you can still use another function and do something. Yeah, exactly. So how do we bind it now? See, the problem is where to bind it. Because if it's the problem is bind them too. Yeah, yeah. So there's actually almost possible to bind it. That's one thing. So, what we can do is we can actually just find this function outside. Let new is equals to right. So function declaration not allowed in a look at this location. Okay. Where am I supposed to now declare function declaration? Okay, 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 okay. Why is telling me that I'm not allowed to? What's going on here? It's new is equals to variable declaration not allowed at this location. Why? Wait. Let me figure out what's going on here. Let me say what will I do now? Maybe I said that the only way that to use arrow function, sure. Sorry. I thought it is another way. Right, that means I'm going outside the scope now. Finding this to that one might be another issue. Let's just focus on this one, 'cause I don't think there's another way. Tell me that I cannot declare a variable outside. Please tell me that something. Let m is equals to 2. Ah, function. Then my name is new. Okay, let me just try this one. But you guys actually need recording of this particular class. I don't think there's actually need for this one. Never need it. Recording for this particular class. Never need it. Recording for this particular class. Is there any need for it? Okay. I of the bind. I'm bind it to bind obj. Ah, I bind it the right thing. Or okay, what am I binding it to now? It should be a. It's not working. Well, I tried my best. It's still not working. I don't. I don't want to investigate for that. Let it be. So I just Control Z. Eh? This is the same function now, is it? Mm-hmm. Okay. I have to rewrite it. This is that's why you made me go back to this thing. Shit to go on now. Uh, so now we get why this is working and why it's not working with our normal function. Can anybody just explain to me why? Let me just know if I'm following my explanation since morning. Why this is working and why our function normal function is not working. Okay. Yeah, that's actually it. So now let's move on to prototypes. Should we move on prototype or should we call it today? Is this okay for today or do you guys also want to eat more JavaScript confusion? Uh, don't worry, I'll just give you guys this one. This one is like icing on the cake. Then we for next class we'll continue from classes. Uh, Said? Yeah, okay. Prototype. So actually, this prototype is one of the most confusing things in JavaScript. Like I kid you not, like this thing can confuse anybody. Hmm. Okay. Watch closely. See, the first word is watch closely. You highlight it. The guy will say, so he said, let's empty, right? So declare an empty object, right? So let me start with this one. Let me move on. Should I move on this one? Okay, okay. I think I should move this one. You're not using this one again. Yeah, let's take this guy out. If you actually still want code snippets from any of my codes, you can usually ask for it too. I think I promised somebody. I don't know. We are pushing it somewhere. If you guys still want it, sure. Somebody asked for it one time. So yeah, yeah. So how many people want that? I don't know. Yeah, some people asking for repo where they can actually have access to these codes. The thing is, I'm not organized. I'm not an organized person, so it don't make any sense. Sometimes it's just a bunch of codes up and down. Yeah, I'm not an organized person. Seriously, I'm not going to lie to you. So yeah, just I have folders where I have like bunch of codes like just piled up, like 500 lines, 1,000 lines. Just, uh, I'll try to see I can because I don't want to push it in my own personal GitHub because of my GitHub. I see it as a sacred place for like I don't want to just let's be sure. Yeah. For one recruiter will see my repo. This guy, what's this guy is this is how we organize now our code base. Eh? Let's not give him that job. It's scattered. Oh my god, I don't want. I don't know what now. Let's see how we can move on. Okay, now so let's see. We have an empty. No, we're not done yet. Though. So we have an empty object. Let empty is equals to this now, right? Empty object. So it tells you watch closely. So just follow us. Watch closely. And that's it. Console your log empty to string. and then he gets a function to string, and it's like Baba is like so log empty to string. So when you call this to string to the function, right? And this get object. And it's like I pulled a property out of an empty object. Magic. Wow. Let's start for him. Well, not really. I've simply been withholding information about the way JavaScript objects work. In addition to just set of properties, most objects have a prototype. A prototype is another object that is used as a fallback source of properties. So a prototype is basically a fallback. It's like another object in JavaScript object that is used as a for basically just this word, this fallback is important. So once when an object gets a request for a property that it does not have, its prototype will be searched for that property. When prototype when and then the prototype's prototype and then so on. So who is the prototype of the empty object? The great ancestral prototype, the entity behind all objects is object of prototype. So object of prototype is the prototype behind this empty object. So now if I want to confirm if this is true, so there's a property called object of get prototype of, right? It's going to tell you the prototype of each element, right? So if I check object of prototype of is it equal to object of prototype, it's going to tell me true, meaning that the 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 prototype of this object is object of prototype. Does this make sense? Yes. Let me let me show you guys something. Let me show you guys something. So now let's go to our playground, our browser. Eugene is because Coca will not show us all these things. The browser. What's going on? My brother hanging. Ah, okay, oh expect. Okay. What is the sources? Okay. Scope. Let us go to console instead of scope. When I do um let obj equals to an empty object. I do obj dot proto. So this is the prototype. If I do this, can you see that I have a property on this object? It's empty. So I can do to can you see to string here? So there's a to string method on this. So this was the to string method that showed us here only the object in our prototype. So yes, there's a constructor object. The constructor object is basically don't worry, let me not say anything about this one. This is an object, constructor object. So yeah, there's also entries assign, has own length, name. So let's do something now. Let's do obj.length. Let's do empty.length. So what happened? Okay, it says empty. It's undefined. Okay. Where is it again? I think it's inside the constructor. That's why, right? Keys, name, keys. Okay, let me try something. The constructor, constructor. It's an object. Can you see? Your length. Can you see? One. So that means the empty has a constructor. I don't know. Let me not call it the length of empty. It should be one. But what about this one, Sha? Just so that there's a prototype on every object, and then that prototype, you know, assigned. So let me show you another thing. Let me clear this. Something crazy. Let ERR equals this. ERR dot. Can you see all this method? And let's get the prototype. Can you see this method in prototype? So when you see that an array has method on it, it doesn't mean that it's an object. It's an object, quite all right. But because it has a once you create it, it has a prototype. Basically, this is what they call syntactic sugar for this. Let's Hope I'm not going to confuse anybody, sha. Because this particular topic is deep. What I'm missing. New ERR is equals to new. It's the same thing as in what we did before. Is this is it's called syntactic sugar for this. Who knows what this is? Exactly. Using what? Exactly, array constructor. So now when I do new array dot see the same method I get here. So what this is telling you is that when you create an array, right, it's just syntactic sugar for an array constructor, right? And then when you have the dot method on it, right, it's not an object per se, but it is an object per se. Do you get? Does anybody get what I'm trying to say? Exactly. So now this is an object. If I create an this is just how to create an object. A constructor method creates what? When I have a constructor, what do I want to create? Constructors are blueprint for exactly object. Are you getting now where all this is coming from? I'm going to. It's confusing though, but yeah, it should make sense small. Like at least to an extent, it should be making small sense. So all these methods are on the this array, array constructor. They are the properties. They are the properties that are inherent in them. But because I'm creating a new array from this guy, this new array will inherit some of these properties, if not all. So same thing with let's say I have a constructor. So let me have a class, normal class new bird. So you guys know this one by now. I have a constructor, right? And I have let's say wings, right? And I do something like this dot wings is equals to wings, right? If I say let go is equals to new bed, I do this. I'm not saying let's say the wing should be let's say four. If I console log ego, what do I get? Get an object with wings of four. Makes sense. Exactly. I can also do something like this: wings is equals to zero, and then instead of passing four here, just move this to zero. So this is a new bird. Same thing with doing let's use an array. Let's new yeah is equal to new. So log new array. You get an empty array. But we know that the array is not yeah, it's an object, right? Because of what we are already used to now. So by now we should know. So yes, is this confusing and understanding at the same time? I want it to be 50% confusing, 50% understanding. And then that's why now I'm fine. I don't want to be able to understand everything 100% because even myself, I don't understand 100%. But I know what's going on, Sha. So that's also what's going on. I know what's going on. Are we good? Yeah. So, anybody have any question? Next class is to be Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. Check the group now. We posted all this information there. Because you think we all this information was there now. Abi, check the description of the group. You see it. Are you on the eloquent JavaScript group? Oh, you're not there. Oh, okay. You can message. Don't message me. Oh. Who do you want to message now? Message somebody. I'll send you the link to the group. That's not me. Someone can post the link here in this comment section. I don't know. Like, you can just join and then. Thank God say you are lucky. I like that word. You are lucky because I don't see that luck. Eh, God. But mostly we meet on Sundays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. But now we're going to be meeting more frequently. We're going to have in a Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays and Sundays. Because Mondays and Wednesdays we want to start from chapter one again. For people that did not follow us from the beginning and they don't understand. Maybe they really know their own and they don't get. So I want to just try and see how I can help everybody. So everybody can be on the same page. So, okay. Okay. So now let's look at this now. So um okay, yeah, let's say a prototype is another object that is used as a fallback source of properties, right? So all those to string, to concat, dot map, dot reduce, they are all in the prototypes of every single array that's created or every single object that's created, right? So when an object gets a request for a property that it does not have, it's the prototype will be searched for the property. Then the prototype, and then so on. So who is the prototype of an empty object? The great ancestral prototype, the entity behind almost all objects. Babanla, which is a prototype. Console log object or get prototype of is going to tell you the prototype of each of the object that you're looking at, right? And then we want to check if it is the same, if it's from the object or prototype, and we get that it is true, right? So now we want to see the object or prototype of the prototype. We get null. It means that null is the like is it is or let me explain this now. Object-oriented prototype is the prototype of all prototypes in JavaScript objects. This is the father of all objects in JavaScript. And then we want to check what is the get prototype of it. Like what is the prototype that created the father of all prototypes or objects. Yeah, try. Yeah, exactly. So God does not have a father or a mother. Exactly. So yeah, something like this now. So as you guess, object or get prototype of returns the prototype of an object. The prototype relations of JavaScript objects form a tree-shaped structure, and at the root of this structure is what? Can I hear somebody say object or prototype? Exactly. So is at the root, is the creator of everybody. So it provides a few methods that shows up in all objects, such as to string, which converts an object to a string representation. Many objects don't directly have object or prototype as their prototype, but instead they have another object that provides a different set of default properties. Functions derive their own from function or prototype. So function or prototype is prototype of all functions. An array derive their own from where? Exactly. That's what we've that's what we've been playing with. Yes. Yes. Hmm. Yes, exactly. Exactly. You're getting this thing. You're getting this thing. You're getting it. You're getting it. So when you have a function, right, and you have like let's say function add, right, and you do add dot, you see apply, argument, bind, color, length. See all these things are just different methods. They are from the function prototype. Now you have an array. Let x is equals to an array. Then you do x dot. Yeah, I can hear you. So can't you see method here? What's this? What's written here? What's this? Okay, you know what? I think this is sure enough. This is method. What is this? What's after the method? What is here? Array with capital what? Capital A. That's this array. Can you see? That means it's a method on this array that we are talking about. This array is a method on this array. You just take the callback. So now let's look at this one. Pop any searching. Their own method. Can you see? Their own methods. Method array dot entries. The function. Then have other properties here. Like let's see what it says. Read more. So returns an iterable key value pair for every entry in the array. So this is method array any entries iterable it's iterable iterator number any, right. When we'll do the next one. So yeah, method array. Yeah, these are all methods. So now let's look at um let's look at an object. Then we'll do m dot. We're going to see to string actually. But let's see we don't get any. There are actually methods on object too. Wait, let's see. Should be actually. There is actually a lot. I can't find them here. Let's try to string. String is one actually. Then the object. Yeah, I saw before. So now, are we? Is JavaScript becoming clearer at least in one way or other, anyhow, any form? I just want to get feedback so far. Is it making sense mostly? Yeah. Mhm. No, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. Why object is not popping up? But object has their own method, yeah. But they have. Okay. Yes. Yes. Constructor. Yes, I did constructor. But the thing is, everybody has constructor. Everybody has a constructor that constructed them. This guy has constructor. This guy has constructor. Even objects has constructor too. So yeah. But don't worry. The when we go to functions, you understand more about constructors. About their constructors, how what happens, what makes what constructs what how. Okay. So let's see now. As I guess object the prototype of returns the prototype of an object. The prototype's relationship of JavaScript objects form a tree-shaped structure, and the root of the structure is already the prototype. It provides a few methods that shows up in all objects, and such as to string, which converts an object to string representation. Many objects don't directly have object the prototype. Okay, so now this is I think this should be an explanation for what's going on. Many objects don't directly have object the prototype as their prototype. Okay, no, actually, no. This one actually has. This one we just did has actually because objects that don't have their prototype as object of prototype directly, right, are objects that were created from other objects as their prototype. So, but instead they have other objects that provides a different set of default properties. Functions derive their function from prototype and array from my prototype. So now consider object to get prototype of mat.max is the same. It will give you function of prototype because mat.max is a function, is a method. So it's going to give you a function because it's a function. Um, object.get prototype of an empty array will give you array prototype, which is actually an array. So such a prototype object would itself have a prototype. Often object of prototype often object of prototype so that it will indirectly provide methods like to string. You can use object of create to create an object with specific prototype. So now let's see. We have an object now. Let proto rabbit is equals to this is an object and the object has a method inside. Speak. And the speak is it has a this binding to this proto rabbit, right? So let me copy this piece of code. What is just doing now? Welcome. It's about to close. Tabasana. Let's play it. Let's contribute. So now we have an object, right? Proto rabbit, and the object has a method, right? So now we want to create another object from this particular object, which is proto rabbit, and then we want so now if you notice when we create, let me tell you now, when we create killer rabbit from proto rabbit, the method of killer rabbit will be proto rabbit. Sorry, prototype of killer rabbit. So now when you do something like object, let me consider log first. So log object dot get type of killer rabbit. So it says speak. So now what this means is that, okay, no, let's do that. Let's do is equals to rabbit. Because it's true. So what does that tell you now? It means that what is the prototype of killer rabbit? Who can tell me the prototype of killer rabbit? Proto rabbit. So the prototype of proto rabbit is, let's do it. So long. Everybody get prototype. Like saying everybody has a father, just like Israel said. God is the creator of the universe. And everybody came from him. Everybody just ask about the father, please. Every object. Let's not do oh, wait, after the class, we're going to engage in this conversation. It's yet. Now, the prototype of proto rabbit, right, is is the prototype of every other prototype, which is object of prototype, which is, let's confirm, equals to object dot prototype. It's true. So this is the father, right, that gave birth to prototype, proto rabbit. And proto rabbit is now the father that gave birth to killer rabbit. By 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 they have what they call they give birth. Okay, this is the father. No, this is a patriarchal war. So yes, the father. I will not be forced. I will not succumb to pressure. I don't know. Uh, Father gives birth, yeah, but through their wife. So they use their wife as their means of giving birth. Okay, other women. They use women. Okay, so now what this means is that the prototype of every object is, so every object that's created normally is going to have a prototype or object to prototype, right? And then every object that's created from another object using the object of create method is going to be, so the prototype of that object is going to be going to be the prototype of the object is going to be the object that created it. Yeah, that's why this guy was saying um many objects don't directly have object of prototype as their prototype, but instead have another object that provides a different set of default properties. Functions derive from functions. So that's exactly what this guy is saying here. So um so now killer rabbit has its prototype as proto rabbit. So you can do killer rabbit dot type, right? Will give you, can just do killer, and then killer rabbit dot speak will give you well, if you console log this guy. So this killer rabbit now inherits this function, this method, this speak method, right? So now when I, yeah. Okay, so this killer rabbit dot type, right? So since you already have an object, okay, let me show you something now. Uh, if I console log, console log killer rabbit now, right? I get an object, right? An empty object. I don't know why it's empty, sha. It should not be empty. It should not be empty. It should have speak. Mm. Okay. Well, it's actually not empty. So when I do the speak, let's guess what happened. I get a method, right? I can pass in let's see uh rabbit says welcome. Not exactly the same way you saw the object that's created from normal object or prototype as empty. The same way we saw this killer rabbit empty. Whereas we knew that there was something actually inside, right? Yeah. So now we can see that this killer rabbit has a speak method that says the undefined rabbit says welcome. Okay. So exactly. So the reason why is that because of this killer rabbit, right? Needs type like this type needs to be. So now if I don't have this to type, I'm gonna have undefined. So let me have killer rabbit. Killer rabbit or type now. As opposed to killer. So now the killer rabbit says welcome. Sounds like a horror movie, sha. Killer rabbit telling you welcome. Welcome to the killer rabbit's house. You're going to be killed. Whatever. Yeah. So now a prototype, a property like speak in an object expression is a shorthand way of defining a method, right? So it's just is a what they mean by shorthand is another way to do it, but yeah, maybe a better way. It creates a property called speak and gives it a function as a value. Okay. The proto rabbit acts as a container. Like I showed you guys that proto. So the proto that means that underscore proto, you know, rabbit acts as a container of the properties that are shared by all rabbits. An individual rabbit object, like a killer rabbit, contains properties that apply only to itself. In this case, its type. So now this type now applies only to killer rabbit. If I create another rabbit and I change the type from killer to something else, that rabbit is going to have that only that particular rabbit will have that type of that particular thing, right? And derive and share properties. So for prototype. So yeah, that's basically it for prototypes from now. Next thing we're going to enter is classes, which is going to be a little bit of a more condensed video maker. So yeah, then we'll go to class notation, and then we'll move on to God. Then move on to maps, then go to polymorphism, and move on to iteration. This particular chapter 6 is it get IB. It is not easy. It's a lot. And I'm trying to see how I can explain every single thing step by step. Hopefully, shall we will finish it. Alright, now from next week, we're going to start with class. Some Sunday, sorry. Sunday, we're going to talk about classes. At least let's move. Let's see if we can get to maps for Sunday. Finish maps. I know that classes will take time. So we'll just talk classes, then we'll stop on maps. Then from the other class. No, like the beginners, I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to be doing their own differently from on Monday and Wednesdays. I'm going to start from introduction to first from this chapter one again. Then do everything again. So it will be running concurrently. Thursdays and Sundays, I'll be continuing from these classes and the rest. Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm going to start from beginning. I'm discussing all this. Yeah. So feel free to join as much as you can. Anyone you want to learn, anything you want to understand. And please, when you're in the classes, ask questions because we see now, the more you ask questions, the more the learning becomes better. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So said what do you say?